everybody, it's Maier, and I'm here to talk about shocks. This last weekend, I had a guy say, hey man, can you do a video about how I choose what shock I should use? And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. How do you choose a shock? So we're going to jump right into it. So the couple of subjects here is who would use what kind of shock, a non-adjustable, a single adjustable, a double adjustable. Also, what are canisters for? If I get time, I'm going to talk about a little bit about monotube versus twin tube. And then also, when I adjust my shocks, what should I feel? Jump right into it. Non-adjustable shocks. A non-adjustable shock does not mean always, and when we're talking about JRIs, that's what I'm dealing with right now. But with non-adjustable shocks, you don't have an adjuster on the end of the shock or anything that would adjust the valving or the ride quality, the dampening quality of the shock. So you can see here, there's no adjuster here, there's no adjuster there. However, we do have this little Schrader valve here. We'll explain that in a second. This shock here, some people get confused, has a ride height adjuster. That's for the spring. That has nothing to do with the dampening and the valving inside and how the car rides down the street. So non-adjustable shock, that's going to be used by most people who are cruising. Someone who doesn't want to crawl into their car, wants to know they have something quality, and they just want to drive it and they're not really worried about being Mario Andretti. But JRI, what they could do, the internals are so quality that you can basically put a non-adjustable shock on a car and have an awesome ride quality. So now a single adjustable shock is going to be like this. This is a JRI single where it has a single knob on one end. It generally, you can make it adjust depending upon how you call it out from the factory. You can make it adjust compression, you can make it adjust rebound, you can make it adjust both. We like to have it just do rebound because that's where the meat and potatoes of the valving is. So that will make the car definitely ride better. But when you get to the track, so a single adjustable customer is going to take is going to be the type of person that goes to an autocross or a track day every here and there, or someone who just likes spirited driving where they like tinkering. They're really enjoying getting under there and seeing what they can make the car do. So you can cruise to the track in a soft setting, get to the track, tie it down, get that thing to respond the way you want, and then once you get back out on the road, back it out again and enjoy your ride. This shock is an awesome shock. It's a good piece. Same with a non-adjustable. Now a double adjustable, this guy here has two adjusters. Has a bleed adjuster, which is actually what that other adjuster was on the single, and a preload adjuster. This is a double. This is not a typical double. JRI has moved on, if you will, from the standard bump adjuster, rebound adjuster. This shock is going to be for someone who's going to want to really get elbows deep into a car. Figure out all the, how would you say, all the little nooks and crannies and learn for the next 2 years and grow with the shock. That's going to be a double. Someone who's going to be tracking, going hardcore. Double is going to be the way that that person's going to go. So we can talk about that more later, maybe in a different video. I have a shock shaft here, which has a double adjustable shock shaft. You can see the two adjusters on here, the low and high. Now I want to talk real quickly about bleed. When I was saying what the singles have, the doubles have. A bleed orifice is technically a hole here at the end of the shaft, and then there's another hole here, and they actually connect. When you open up the bleed, it just opens the needle and seat and lets fluid bypass the shim stack. So it actually is like a floodgate. It lets the shock move with less dampening control, so that makes it appear to be softer. That's where most shocks adjust. That's how they adjust. So with this, though, the second aspect of this adjuster, what we would call a high speed or the preload adjuster for the rebound, it actually, when you crank this guy down, it pulls this whole section in the middle into the shim stack, raising the entire range of the shock. So this is a pretty complex deal, and we're not going to have time to go through exactly how that is today, but that's where I say when you get a double from JRI, prepare to learn. Really high quality stuff. Now, the other thing is canisters. Here's a shock with a canister. The whole purpose of a canister initially was when you have a shaft that's going to go into the body X amount of distance, there's not enough room to put what we have as a nitrogen chamber in the body of the shock. So what happens is, as a shaft goes in, we want to keep pressure on the fluid to keep the fluid from cavitating and getting a bunch of bubbles in it. So what the guys in the shock industry figured out to do is they put a dividing piston in here with nitrogen on one side and the fluid on the other side. So they put pressure through the Schrader valve to keep pressure on the fluid, so when the shaft is going in and out, it doesn't create bubbles in the body of the shock, which doesn't let the piston go through all these air pockets. And you don't want that. You want it consistent and steady. So what happens is, as you get the shaft and the body dimensions to such a point, as it compresses, the piston can actually impact the dividing piston if you have the nitrogen chamber in the shock. So they came up and put it in a canister remotely. Then what happens after time, people figured out we can put a floodgate in here and control the flow through another orifice on the entry to that canister. So that's where you get a lot of bump adjustment on canisters. So that, again, this is a system not for the faint of heart. This is going to be for someone who's serious and who wants to really get after it and not leave anything on the table for the track. Okay. A mono and a twin tube shock. The difference is a monotube shock has the piston the full size of the ID of the body of the shock. Now what this does is make sure that you move as much fluid as you can per inch, which gives you the most dampening capability possible. The twin tube means you'll see the body of the shock, like so. You'll see the body size here. Then what happens is there'll be another tube inside with a little tiny piston in it. That means you have less potential movement of fluid per inch, which means you have less dampening capabilities. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be bad. It's just for peak performance, we prefer to have a monotube shock. So anytime we can have a monotube, we're going to take it. It's going to give you more potential dampening per inch. The final thing is, when I adjust things, what am I going to feel? Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, if someone buys a single adjustable shock or any adjustable shock, it's going to be rebound that you feel. And rebound is when the shock extends. It's the inside front corner. When you turn the car, inside lifting. When you step on the brake, it's the back lifting. You step on the gas, it's the front lifting. It's when the shock extends. That's what most people are going to feel. Track, street, that's the meat and potatoes. So the single adjustable systems are built in such a way that they're really good ride quality. I mean, the non-adjustable stuff is going to be good ride quality, but the singles are going to give you a little bit of tunability. And then have in mind with the JRI platforms, you can buy a non in 2 years, pull that shaft out, and put a single shaft in, or you can put a double adjustable shaft in. So when you buy a JRI system, it is not a sealed system. You can rebuild them and put new seals in fairly simply, and there's a lot of guys out there with tools, and you can even do it yourself. So I hope that this helps give you an idea of what you're looking at when you're looking at shocks. So look us up, MikeMaierInc.com. Look us up on Facebook, Mike Maier Inc. If you have any questions, shoot us some questions. If you have any suggestions for videos, shoot us a suggestion. Thanks for watching. We'll catch up with you soon.